I was digging around in my closet today, and I found this slingshot airplane that I got a long time ago from Hobby Lobby. But as you can see, it's completely broken, and this is beyond a little hot glue repair. And hot glue would probably be a little too heavy even if I could straighten it out and get it flying again. So what I thought I would do is I would trace out all the parts on the foam board, use the plastic parts, and make a new one. Now all we've got to do is get some foam board, trace out the pieces, and put it together. Since this wing doesn't have a wingtip, I'm going to trace one side, flip it over, and retrace that side, so I should get an entire wing. Okay, now that you have your parts cut out, I'm going to show you how to assemble them. So, first, you'll put the nose where it's going to sit, and you'll take this piece. And notice I haven't cut out the holes here yet, and that's because I want to make sure that it lines up correctly. So, make sure everything's lined up, push down, and you'll see two little holes. I'm going to take a file, continue to poke those holes out, with turning, and there you have the holes. So, I'm going to stick that in, stick the nose on, then on the other side, clamp everything into position, just as if you were building the kit. This is going to be extra tight since we're using foam board instead of the foam that they use, because the foam board is considerably thicker. And there you have the nose. Now, put the wing in. So, we're going to have to make a score cut because on the original wing, they had some dihedral, which means this has a lot of dihedral right here. This is flat, 0 dihedral, but this had just a tiny bit of dihedral. So that means we need to make a score cut, which I showed you how to do in the last video. Just grab my razor blade, ruler, sight down the middle, and just drag the ruler along the edge. Okay, there's a score cut. Now see, we have that same ability of dihedral. So, if we put this in, up at the front, it'll give us the correct amount of dihedral. So, we'll tape that on. Inside the winging. Use rocking motions so that you don't wreck the phone. I cut this to be a little tight. Quite possibly a little too tight. Adjust the fuselage. And there, the wing's attached. It's not very level, so just kind of play around with it until you get it level. This is why we don't glue anything right as we're putting it in. Always do a test fit first. That looks fairly level to me, so I'm going to leave that. Now let's get the tail fin and stick it in. But before we do that, let's make a control surface so that we can adjust it. So, sight down to the bottom and do a score cut. And then crack it open, and then on the tail fin, do a bevel cut. Okay, after you've made your bevel cut, you'll see that we have a nice control surface right here. So, we'll stick this into the fuselage that has the part that has the slot for it. Once again, I made this tight on purpose so that it doesn't wiggle around too much, because I'm not planning on using any glue on this because I don't have any. Once it's straightened out, re-go over everything and make sure everything seems to be lining up. The main thing that you need to know about airplanes is they need to look the same on both sides. And there's your F-16. Okay, now that we've got it built, we're going to do some test flights. So, we're going to find which way the wind is blowing, toss it into the wind. And if it's doing something we don't want, we'll adjust it using this tail surface that we use. wind's coming this way, so I'm gonna toss it down the street like so. Wow, that flies beautifully right off the bat. I don't think we need to do any adjustments. Let's use the slingshot. Ooh, it landed in some water, that's not good. Oh well, I don't think there's any permanent damage. Okay, this time we're gonna go with the wind, but that's just because we're kind of using up all of the area. That looks nice, although it kind of dived at the end. So I'm thinking that it went up nicely, but then it stalled at the top. So it's probably a little tail heavy, but I'm just gonna try doing a slight downward, which you might think would be worse because that would force the nose down, but then it wouldn't get that aggressive climb and then stall. So I'm just trying to experiment right here. Try one last flight. Ooh! We got it! Thank you all for watching.